that she has to remove the dogs from her parents' house where she's living, that she's precluded from selling them or giving them away until she gives you an opportunity to take them. I'm also directing you, because I assume you live with your parents, and I assume your father's going to be watching this, or I would tell him when I got home that the judge called you a moron.
I will.
You can tell him that.
I will.
And I suggest to you that if you want to own a pet, I've had pets all my life, you have to protect your pet from morons.
Yes.
Whether they be little children who are morons or adults who have nothing better to do than to make TikTok videos using somebody else as a fall person. Frightening. As far as the assaults are concerned, I find that you both assaulted each other on 2 different days. There's no question in my mind that you assaulted him, and there's no question in my mind that as a result of her pushing you, and you have a temper because I know that you broke some of the things in your apartment, that you did, in fact, do something in her mouth. It didn't remove her teeth, but clearly, whatever you did to her face caused her lip to hit her tooth, which caused it to have a bruise on it. Anything else that I have to consider?
Yes, all the furniture that I left at the apartment.
Did you have a moving company come and move stuff for you? That's either a yes or a no.
Yes.
I read the papers. You
Yes.
did. On what date did you have a moving company come?
It was November 1st.
When you hired the moving company, did you give them a list of things to move?
Yes.
And did they move the list of the things that you gave them to move?
Yes.
Correct? And they moved them.
Yes.
So that part of your case is dismissed. It's over. She's keeping the dogs. And we're done here. Case is dismissed.
This court is adjourned.
That's what happens when you get in narcissistic relationships. People manipulate you. I was with him since I was 15. I'm 19 now.
Honestly, I was pretty upset with the outcome of the dogs.
I haven't talked to him in months. This is the first time I've seen him in forever.
She kept coming back. I mean,
I don't like him. I don't want him ever.
done means done, man.
What's done is done.
I was so surprised when I found out that she was only 19. Not a real stable place in your life to be getting a dog, and let alone 2, when you're not settled. You know, I think that's so unfair for dog owners when they're not settled. And, you know, it's just unfortunate.
There's an immaturity.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying to me is there's an immaturity. Problem is when you're immature, you don't realize that it's a mistake because an immature person is making a mature judgment. What I actually found, I mean, it was stupid. It wasn't as if it did something horrendous to the dog, but frightened the dog by throwing this square of cheese at its eye.
Well, I've seen the trend, and it actually did start on babies, throwing slices of cheese on babies' heads in high chairs.
What is happening to the world?
Yeah.
What's happening
Too
if
much
somebody
time on
thinks
their
that
hands.
that's funny to startle a baby or to startle a creature in order to make somebody else laugh?
Yeah.
You know,
the world we live in today.
If morons want to do that, let them stick a broomstick someplace and take a TikTok picture of it on themselves.
Yeah.
On themselves.
I'm with
Why
you.
choose some other living creature? I don't understand that.
I'm with you.
I would build more jails. Your friend set up a website for you.
That's correct.
It was redirected to a porn site.
I have a video I could show you. It's explicit.
Listen, I'm a big girl. I've seen practically everything.
And he is also the only one with the capability to do that.
People can hack into the Pentagon.
This is Judy Justice. Ryan Deitch is suing his former friend, Oliver Miller, for damages after Oliver sabotaged his website.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 3089, Deitch versus Miller.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Deitch, how long have you known Mr. Miller?
It's been since 7th grade, Your Honor. So what does that make, 8 years now?
Oh, my God, have people changed in
I know.
just a few years?
Tell me about it.
7th grade, teeny people. You went through middle school together and high school?
That's correct.
Did you do any post-high school schooling?
Not together. We go to different universities, but we've
Which
remained.
school?
I go to DePaul University.
Are you still there?
I'm still there. That's right.
What year are you in?
I'm a senior.
And you, sir?
I'm a senior at Purdue University.
So this is what the case is about. Some time ago, according to you, your friend, without compensation, I assume, because there was nothing about
Correct.
compensation in here, set up a website for you, this friend. At some point, there was an issue of cats. The defendant has 2 cats,
That is correct.
and he was going away on vacation, and he asked you if you would mime the 2 cats.
Yeah, that's correct.
When was that?
That was on July 26th of 2023.
Where was he going?
He was going to Hawaii, Maui, actually.
Who were you going with?
I was going with my brother and my mother.
What did you tell him you needed him to do for the 2 cats?
I told him he needed to come over to the house, feed them, just make sure they're doing fine, hang out for a few minutes, and then that's it.
How many times a day?
Once a day.
Feed them once a day, change water,
Right.
clean up the kitty litter.
That's correct.
Were they indoor, outdoor cats?
Indoor cats.
Now, before you left on vacation, did you give your friend, Mr. Deitch, the instructions on what he had to do?
Yes, Your Honor. Over text, and I have it here.
I'd like to see it.
Great. Yes.
You talk about 1 cat, Rooney.
Yes, Your Honor. She's the more excited one out of the 2. The other one, Stella, really just doesn't need any attention.
You were asking him if he would watch Rooney. Take her out once a day, and he says, feed her and clean the litter box. That's a question. And you said, yeah, it should be pretty easy. Okay. And you left on vacation, and according to your countersuit, the plaintiff was negligent. The cats got out. They were gone for a week. You were hysterical because the cats were not located for a week. But Mr. Deitch's claim is that when you came home from Hawaii and found that the cats were missing, because both cats were missing at that time. When did you come home from Hawaii?
I came home on the 14th of August. We originally planned to be back on the 8th of August, but we were stranded in Hawaii during the Maui wildfires, so we were unable to make it back until the 14th.
And when you came back, you found that both cats were missing.
That's right.
Mr. Deitch says after you found both cats were missing, you got slightly hysterical, as would most people who are cat lovers and find their animals missing, and that in retaliation for that, you did something to the website that you had created for him that when people went to it, instead of clicking on to the website, which Sarah is going to try to explain to me, instead of clicking onto the website and going to the informational portion of the website, it was redirected to a porn site, and that was done in retaliation for his negligently allowing your cats to be lost. That's your claim. Now you're going to tell me about your website. Your website is for what?
So my website is pretty much my professional self. I don't apply to a job. I really don't meet someone professionally without showing them my website. It's sort of...
Well, what is your website?
It's a portfolio site.
Would you give it to Sarah so she can bring it up?
So it's basically a site...
No, not basically. Basically is a filler word.
Okay,
A website has an address.
It is a website that features a little bit about me, my contact information.
Name.
Is the name of the website. I can spell it for you if necessary.
I got it. It does, in fact, come up.
Okay.
It's basically a professional work page.
Oh, okay. And,
So you put it on a business card
and
so
then
people
you
can
ask,
find more
and
information.
then what do you press for it to transition you to?
Launch portfolio.
There's like a contact page, an about page with some more information, some credits.
It seems
that
to
I
be
have.
working correctly now.
Oh, okay. Now, your lawsuit says that somebody hacked into your web page so that when you press this informational web page about what you do, what projects you've done in the past, and they say, oh, my God, this is a nice-looking guy, looks okay, let's see what he's done, because he's applied for a job or something else. They press a button, and it took you to a porn site. So I want to see that.
I have an email from a recruiter who emailed me after she got redirected.
Well, why didn't you take photographs of what it was on the screen? That's very easy.
Okay, I mean, I have a video I could show you. It's explicit, though. I don't know.
Listen, I'm a big girl. I'm 81 years old. I've
Okay.
seen
It's on
practically
my
everything,
phone?
although
Okay.
that's probably not true. They're developing new things all the time.
Ryan Deitch is accusing his former friend, Oliver Miller, of intentionally sabotaging his website. Oliver is countersuing for negligence and emotional distress, claiming Ryan lost his cat.
Okay. If you have the video, I'd like to take a look at
Here
it.
it is. So she'll just press that play button right there. Do you want the volume on or off?
Okay, so push the play button.
Ah, well, that's not terribly pornographic.
I would describe it as woefully inappropriate for a professional setting.
I believe that you're right. You can put that back. Now, at what point, on what day, did you first notice that?
So that was on August 24th, and I didn't even notice it on my own. Like I said, I received that email from a recruiter at a company.
Okay, can I see the email?
Yes, of course.
Okay, this woman, whoever this is, wrote to you and said, this looks like a bad joke, and I wasn't even going to reach out to you, but then I thought it would be fair to reach out to you because I'm sure you didn't know that this happened.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's what she's saying.
Yeah.
Did you answer her?
I mean, I did. But
No, did you? You know where I'm going. This Bethany allegedly wrote this to you, and if I were in business looking for a job, I would immediately contact her. Did you do that?
I did, but by that point, they'd already offered the job to someone else.
I don't care. I just want to see when you reached out to her.
I don't think I have that. I was over the phone. I called her.
I don't believe you.
Okay.
How's that? Goody-goody? Are we getting goody-goody? Are we getting close to what's going on? I knew it would just take me a little bit of time, guys. I knew it would just take me a little bit of time. Okay, so you don't have what would any normal business person who has set themselves up would have, which is an immediate response. Oh, Bethany, thank you. I'm so glad you directed me to this.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it down right away. Is the job still available? All of that would be here because that's the way you do it, which you don't have.
No, I don't. I mean, it was a couple days later that I was notified of that, and I called her. But like I said, the job had already been offered. There really wasn't much I could do at that point.
Nice pivot.
I wouldn't describe it as that.
Nice pivot.
Okay.
Okay. Now, let us assume, for the purpose of this case, that this did in fact happen. What proof do you have that the defendant hacked into your computer and redirected it to this other site, which is clearly an inappropriate site for somebody looking for a techie job?
So he actually admitted it to me over the phone, and he is also the only one with the capability to do that. And
No, that's not the only one with the capability, sir. People can hack into the Pentagon.
That's true, but he wouldn't have to hack. He literally...
Well, he wouldn't have to, but you can.
He controls it.
But you can. When you received this email, you didn't respond to the person who sent it. How did you communicate with him?
I called him, and I texted him as well. I was very upset.
Well, just a second. Now I'll see the text.
Okay. This is it. It's at the bottom.
I assume that you wrote him, this is serious, on August 24th. Is there any response to this?
She did not respond.
He did not respond to that. So bottom line is you really have no proof that he hacked into this. So how long did that website, let's say it was August 24th, that you noticed it, and he came home on August 14th, not finding his cats. When was it taken down?
On August 25th is when it was restored. But I assume it was put to that inappropriate site soon after he got back, maybe 10, 9.
You can't assume anything. That's a guess.
Correct. That's a guess.
That's a guess. But it was taken down August 25th and put up again August 26th.
Yeah, it was restored.
Now, what I want you to do is tell me, now we have September, October, November, December, right up past January. Just for my own information, how many jobs have you had from this website? Name, person, and how much you were paid from this website since August 26th. It can't be a lot.
Yeah, I'm a college student.
Okay, it can't be a lot, so it has to be a handful. A handful you would remember.
0.
0. Okay, that's very good. That helps me a lot. That helps me a lot because there are no damages for this business. Okay, now we're going to go to your counterclaim.
Great.
Great, right?
Yes.
Terrific. He was negligent in taking care of your cats and they got out.
He was negligent.
I just said to you, that's a yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And you got home and you didn't find your cats.
That's correct.
One cat came back relatively quickly.
That's correct.
Which cat?
Stella.
Because Stella's a homebody.
That's correct.
And the other one sort of enjoyed his freedom.
Yes, she enjoyed her freedom.
She enjoyed her freedom. And she was out for how long?
7 days.
And then she came home.
That's right, Your Honor.
How'd she look? Happy?
She was happy to be back, but...
Happy to be back, so she decided to come home.
That's right, Your Honor.
And you have them both now?
Yes, yes.
Good. So your counterclaim's dismissed, as is your claim, sir. You can't prove it. We're done.
Your
Thank
Honor.
you very much.
Your Honor.
We have finished. Finito.
May I draw
Done.
upon my witness?
No.
This court is adjourned.
I trusted a friend, and that was really my only mistake here.
He was lying the entire time. I don't know why a good friend would do that after I helped him build his website, and he just tried to stab me in the back.
I'm a very forgiving person, so I hate to count it out completely, but things are not looking good for us.
You know, I think he got a bit of karma there, and I'm glad he, hopefully missed out on something, but I did not do it.
You know, I'm not so sure about that case. Let us assume that everything was as presented. The plaintiff had absolutely no damage that he could prove. He might have done that.
Sure.
You know, you lost my cats, I'm going to screw around with your webpage, and I'm absolutely certain that they are going to have dinner tomorrow night together.
I'm sure as well.
I'm sure. So you were going to go into her space, make and sell your CBD's infused ice cream.
CBD and THC, Your Honor.
And you still have his ice cream equipment.
Correct.
We had a fallout, so
And you're saying, I want my equipment back.
I just want the value. I don't want the equipment anymore.
I don't care what you want. You've been eating too much ice cream.
This is Judy Justice. Kyle Bishop is suing his former business partner, Bridget Pinder, for the return of ice cream equipment.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Judge, case 3137, Bishop versus Pinder.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Mr. Bishop, you and Ms. Pinder are both in the business of products that contain CBD.
CBD and THC, Your Honor.
CBD and what?
THC.
You have to tell me what that is. Some people don't know.
It's a cannabis derivative.
That's good for what?
It's good for pain management, sleep, stuff like that.
And your particular specialty was CBD's infused ice cream.
Correct.
And you take that for pain management.
You can.
What else do you take it for?
You can take it recreationally, too, if you want.
Just to be happy.
Just to be happy.
It would seem to me that that's why you would take ice cream.
Sure.
Just to be happy. How long have you been involved in that business?
Since 2018, Your Honor.
Just my own curiosity. How'd you get involved in the ice cream part of CBDs?
It was basically just a fun way to infuse the CBD or THC.
And how do you buy the CBDs? Does it come in a box?
It comes in
Do
a
they
distillate. So it's comes in a liter jar.
A liquid?
Yep.
And where do they get that from?
They extract it from the plant itself.
And you buy it from a company?
Yeah, yep, the extraction company, yep.
Where are they located?
In Oregon.
Must be a good business.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and you invested in this ice cream machinery. I assume there's no difference between the ice cream machinery to make ice cream
No, none at all.
and the one to make
No.
ice cream infused with CBD.
None.
Okay? When did you purchase the equipment?
So the freeze dryer was purchased on February 22nd of 23. That was just one of the machines, one of the three.
And how much was that machine?
That machine was exactly $2,904.02.
Okay?
But there's also interest on it, because I'm doing a payment plan on it.
Just tell me what the second piece of equipment was.
Sure. And that would be a winter ice cream machine.
Okay, when did you purchase that?
This one was purchased on January 9th of 22. That was the second ice cream machine that I have.
And the third one?
I don't have the exact date, but I do have proof of purchase.
What was the year?
22.
Did you buy it from a private party?
Yes.
Okay. And how much was that?
That was $250.
Okay. And the one that you bought on January 9th, 2022 was how much?
$300.
$34.54 is what you paid for the equipment.
Correct.
You have any loans out on the equipment?
I do. Yep.
And that would be on the one you purchased in 2023.
Correct.
And how much is left on that?
I actually don't know. I just keep making payments on it.
When was the last time you made a payment on it?
This month.
Now, Ms. Pinder, you're in the same business, and what I gather was he leased some space and then he had some trouble in his space. You used to be in that space, and you were moving into new space.
We were already in new space.
You were already in new space, and he asked you if he could move his ice cream equipment over to your space and sell stuff out of your space.
Correct. We were going to collaborate. Oh, I'm sorry.
And when was that?
That was in July of 2023.
And that was the plan. He had his ice cream infused, and you are involved in CBDs. What kind? What do you sell?
So we grow, process, and make all of our own products. So we have a hemp farm where we grow all of our own hemp, and then we process it ourselves. So we get an oil rosin out of our plant, and then we take that and we use that in our products. We were going to collaborate with Kyle on an ice cream product, and that is how we ended up
So she would supply the liquid?
No, she didn't supply anything.
No, she would.
Sorry.
I didn't say she did. I said if you're going to collaborate, were you going to buy your product from her?
We could, yes.
I actually did supply. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, that sounds like a collaboration.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, if she processes her own liquid.
Right, but it's more cost effective to buy it in bulk the way I was doing it versus making it.
So how were you going to collaborate with her?
It was going to be a 50-50 partnership between the profit made.
So you were going to go into her space, make and sell your ice cream.
Right.
And she would get half the profit.
Right.
In exchange for your rent. Is that the deal?
We didn't have a deal on rent or anything.
Okay, so you didn't have a deal on rent, but you were going to split profits on his product.
Correct.
Okay, and there was a kerfuffle between the two of you when?
About July 26th, 2023.
And you were no longer collaborating after that?
Correct.
And you still have his ice cream equipment in your store?
Correct. And the reason that I have his okay.
And that's what he wants back?
Well, no, actually I do. I just want the value. I don't want the equipment anymore.
I don't care what you want.
Sure.
You want your equipment back.
Well, actually, I want the value of the equipment.
She's not going to pay you for the equipment. If I rule that she has to give it back to you, she's going to give it back to you. You got to go pick it up from wherever it is. Okay.
Bishop claims his former business partner, Bridget Pinder, is wrongfully withholding his ice cream equipment. Bridget is countersuing for the cost of CBD products and defamation.
Now, is a theory that you're holding on to his equipment, that he has some of your product?
Yes, ma'am.
So, in effect, what you did was put a lien on his equipment, even though you didn't put a lien on it.
Correct.
You have to return his equipment.
Okay.
And you have 5 days to do that. You go there if you need to go there with a sheriff or a marshal. We'll put that in the order.
I've already done that once. I've already done that once, Your Honor.
Well, now you do it with an order. 5 days, you pick up your equipment. Okay. Now, you paid $34.54 for the equipment. Would you mind telling me why you're suing for $7,000?
Basically for damages done to the business as well.
What damages?
Loss in profit and wages.
How do you know that? What proof do you have of that?
I can't sell any product, Your Honor.
Well, what proof do you have of what you could sell?
I do have other clientele that would purchase.
How do I know that? You get your equipment back.
Okay.
Be happy. Now, she has a counterclaim. She says you have some of her product.
I do.
First, how did you come into possession of her product?
We agreed upon the old space that we were both currently at. It was a 60-40 split.
Just a minute. You mean in your old place that you left?
Yes. Yep.
Before you left the old space, she gave you some of her product
Right.
for you to sell.
Right. And then I still owed on that product after closing.
Did you have a written contract?
No.
How did you keep track of what she had given you to sell?
We would basically just do it through the POS system.
The what?
The POS system, point of sales.
On
cash register.
on my end, I would keep track of every time I would bring product out to the store, or one of my employees would bring product. And then I also have copies of my wholesale books and my lists, if you would like, so that you can see how much things cost. And
Mr. Bishop, I'd like you to take a look at this.
Sure.
And see if this represents a fair and accurate representation of the product that Ms. Pinder gave you to sell on consignment.
These are the correct products, but not the quantity.
Do you have what the quantity is?
I do not.
Well, why don't you keep it? I mean, you're in business. If you don't have it and she has it, then I must rely on what she has. Mr. Bishop, you got to stop eating all that ice cream, sir.
No, I do have conversations.
You eat up all the product. You know, you're not in business anymore. So where is all of her product?
It's in storage right now.
How long has it been in storage?
About 4 months.
What's the exact date it went into storage?
I don't know, Your Honor.
July was when he left his store. So
It was actually May 11th was the last day, Your Honor.
okay, so I'm sorry, May 11th was his last day. And our products are not very shelf stable. They have about 6 months to a year shelf stability. So those products would not be viable anymore.
Tell me, Mr. Bishop, how come you put the products in storage in May?
That's just because we're transferring over to a new spot. Well, trying to anyway. And then we're just continually trying to find a new spot.
Well, what happened with her spot?
We had a fallout, so.
He was never coming to my new spot. His old spot is where that I was in prior to him renting it. So we've never been in business together. We've never had like a spot or anything like that together.
But that was the plan.
No, it was not.
That was the plan.
The plan was for him to make ice cream in our processing facility, but not for us to ever share storefront together.
So his ice cream equipment was placed by him in your processing facility, not the store.
Correct.
So he never really used it to make ice cream.
No, I asked him multiple times in multiple text messages to come in and make the product because we were supposed to be making a product together. And he would always give me excuses like, I don't have gas money, I can't get there today, this and that. And then the product not being viable, we also went back and forth with that. I kept asking him to make something with a longer shelf life, things like that. So that didn't happen.
May I see some of the text messages?
Yeah.
And then I'd like you to tell me.
So these are in order. This is from where we were talking in July 26th. So this is me asking for my products back. Maybe we'll start with that. I don't know. I don't know if you want the whole thing.
Yeah, okay. I want everything. The defendant said to you, I'll need my products back and money you owe me first. I assume you asked for your ice cream equipment.
Correct.
I've been asking you for weeks when you're coming in, and you didn't, so now I don't have time. Well, how much did you owe her in July? Mr. Bishop, you clearly, based upon all of these messages, owe her money.
Correct.
And you owe her some serious money in July. And what you're doing is saying to her, listen, I'm not doing well right now, so you got to stop stressing me. You're asking her to be like your mother. I owe you money, but don't talk to me about that now because I'm very stressed.
It was only
and I have to make money, and I need my freezer equipment to make money, and you won't give it to me. That's what you're saying to her. Now, he says to you, I know I owe you $700, and it's just frustrating that the faucet just shut off. Trust me, I know. But we need to work together on this to make it work. There is a spot in Glencoe for $800, all utilities with a small kitchenette, and only asking for 1 year's rent. I can sell things and do DoorDash to meet that.
The $700, Your Honor, that was for product he had sold in the store, not for the product of mine that he still has. So I agree
so
that
what he...
Yeah, he was selling our products.
That's not right, Your Honor.
So that was the $700 that he had sold that he owed us from selling the product, but he still has all of my other products in storage.
He has other inventory.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Bishop, I'm reading all these messages, and it appears that you said to her, I owe you $700.
Correct.
Now, in my rudimentary business mind, that means that is not materials that you had of hers that are currently in storage, but materials that you sold and were her part of the profits. You said it was a 60-40 split in the old store.
That was for the collaboration we were going to do.
No, that's for what you sold already. That's for what you sold, and you didn't pay her.
But there's no way I have $10,000 worth of product. There's absolutely...
Well, but you see, I don't know that because you just took it and didn't keep inventory. You just took it. Gimme. I want to make some ice cream.
Has accused his former business partner, Bridget Pinder, of refusing to return his ice cream equipment. Bridget is countersuing, claiming Kyle owes for the cost of CBD products.
So my question to you, Mr. Bishop, is how much money did you owe her?
Only $700, Your Honor.
I want you to show me how you get to that figure.
Sure.
Your Honor, that was this. Okay.
There's her. Oop. Excuse me, sir.
what you're showing me is $700 that you already owe her for products that you sold.
Right, but that's all that was owed.
Well, what's in storage?
It's about like $500 worth of product. It's not much.
That's not what she says.
Right, that's what she said.
Why didn't you give it back to her?
I mean, we tried talking. I even brought a cop for a civil standby. We couldn't really work it out.
What do you mean you couldn't work it out? Why don't you just give her back all the products that you had back in July? They were still good.
Well, I was going to sell those in my new spot. I thought I was going to get a new spot by next month, but that never panned out, unfortunately.
Well, that's not her fault.
Right.
You kept stuff that didn't belong to you.
Right. But
Right?
I do have text messages saying that I was going to sell that in the new spot.
But you didn't.
Well, I can't,
Why?
because I don't have a new spot.
Well, that's not her fault.
Right, no, I know it's not.
You've been eating too much ice cream, Mr. Bishop. Try chicken and fish. It'll help you out a lot. It's good for your brain.
Your Honor.
What?
He's also been defaming us on social media and YouTube, which I have copies of. He also has product with our logo on them still on his Facebook page that we've asked him to take down multiple times, which he hasn't, and he laughs at us about.
Merci.
Yeah. The picture of the YouTube, Your Honor, is him sharing our text messages that I gave you on YouTube, calling us thieves.
Okay. I was saying if you don't want to see the picture on the front page of the New York Times, don't take the picture. And if you don't want to see something republished, don't send a text message about it because it can be republished. I don't know what this means. Can you get away with stealing? Hashtag law, hashtag education. What is that?
The content of that was actually a guy stealing a watch and then the state pressing charges against the guy that stole. So telling her basically that the state would press charges against her for stealing my stuff.
But taking
Well,
my
she actually should not have retained your stuff without the intervention of a court, but that's why we're here now, sir.
Correct.
And the defendant says that the value of the merchandise that you have is not, as you speculate, $500 or whatever, but more in the neighborhood of, she says, thousands of dollars, because you're suing for a congregate amount of $10,000. You break that up in product and in defamation. Now, you have a fixed amount that I can see of what product you gave him, when, and your cost on them. You have that?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it.
It's on the back sheet of the one that I gave you, 11,000, the one that looks like this, Your Honor.
Okay. You asked him for his stuff.
I did.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember what he told you?
He told me that he was going to be getting a new space and that he was going to sell my stuff in his new space. So I asked him multiple times for my things back because I know that they're not going to do well in a storage space. I even told him, give them back to me and I will give you new stuff when you open your new space.
That's not true, Your Honor.
It is true, Your Honor. That's what
There's no text messages saying that.
No, I told that to him.
It really doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, because I wanted him to succeed. I'm in the part of our huge part of our community.
That's not true, Your Honor.
And
Don't
I did.
interrupt her.
I wanted him to succeed. I want a lot of people to succeed, and so I try to help others in our community, and that's what I was trying to do here, Your Honor.
She actually had a lobbyist group make my product illegal. I don't know how that's helping me.
Mr. Bishop, let me ask you this question. You're coming to court today asking for the return of your equipment.
Correct. But now I can't even make the product because it's illegal now.
Because it's illegal.
Correct. She made it illegal.
Wow. She's not a legislator. She may have lobbied to make it illegal, but she's not a legislator.
Well, no, she used a group called...
I don't care, Mr. Bishop. You have to understand. I don't care. What I'm saying to you is you're coming into a court of equity and you're saying, I want my equipment back, which I can still use because it's equipment. And
well,
Ms.
I can't
Pinder,
use it to make ice cream.
I don't care what you use it for. You can use it to make ice cream, so you just can't make it with CBD-infused ice cream.
Correct.
Make as much ice cream as you like. And as far as the defendant is concerned, if you can't make CBD-infused ice cream, she has no use for the equipment.
Correct.
Except to sell it. But if you can't use it, is that right?
Correct.
If you can't use it, then you really don't want it back.
Correct.
Then I'm not going to give it to you back.
Okay.
And I'm going to take off the value based upon what you owe her because she can't use the product anymore. Its shelf life is gone and you've retained it. Do you understand?
Correct.
So she says the value of her product is $11,000. My court maximum is 10. She's got the equipment that you can't use. I don't know what she can sell it for. You paid $3,000 for the equipment. You have $10,000 worth of stuff that you can no longer use because he's retained it in storage. Sell whatever you can of his ice cream equipment.
Okay.
I'm awarding you $7,000 on your counterclaim.
Thank you, Judge.
The plaintiff's claim is dismissed. On the counterclaim, $7,000. Thank you.
Thank you, Your
Court is
Honor.
adjourned.
We just had a disagreement, unfortunately. We had a bit of a falling out, so.
He wouldn't show up to make the product. The shelf life on the product was not long enough, and it wasn't reliable.
They put in law that my ice cream is now illegal, so.
We did not do that. We did not get anything banned. We worked really hard to get THC legalized in Minnesota, and that's what we did.
Oh, we're just going to move forward.
We will never work with him in the future.
I should have asked whether these products that contain the CBDs that she sells, that he took and has in storage, I wonder if they have an expiration date.
A lot of them do. I think it's a plant derivative. Sometimes, balms or salves that have CBD in them do all have an expiration
date on it.
Just because they do come from a plant derivative, so they have some form of expiration on
date. Yeah, you see that, when products that you buy in the grocery store.
It sounded
best
accurate
used by.
when she said 6
It
months to
expires
a
6
year
months.
around.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would have been a good question.
Jessica Gaines is suing her sister, Joanne Gaines, for car damages and harassment.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case number 2003, Gaines versus Gaines.
Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome.
Miss Gaines, you and the defendant are half-sisters. You share the same father.
Yes.
Have you always had a relationship with your father?
Yes.
And you, Miss Gaines?
Yes.
There came a time when you were living with your dad.
Yes.
From when to when were you living with your dad?
From October 2018 to December 2021.
And who was living at the same residence?
It was me, my dad, and a roommate, my dad's roommate.
No children?
Yes, my children stayed there as well. I do
Okay,
apologize.
well, that's important.
Sorry.
How many children?
I have 4 daughters.
How old are they?
11, 10, 4, and 5.
Were you working?
Yes.
From 18 to 21?
I stopped working in November 2019, and I started back working October 21.
What kind of work do you do?
I work for United Healthcare. I'm a customer service rep for Optum.
Just so that I get a sense, because this is a family issue, you clearly had a life before you moved to your father's house in 2018. Can you tell me why you moved into your father's house in 2018?
Because where I was living, the house was smaller, and my dad felt like he wanted me and my children to be in a safer environment.
So you had an ongoing, constant relationship with him?
Yes.
And Miss Gaines, tell me about you. Did you ever live with your father?
I lived with my father when I was in the 9th grade.
But not since you were a child?
No.
Did you maintain a relationship with him?
I did. Me and my father do mechanic work together most of the time, so I'm at his house a lot.
Was that a business that you had together?
Just more so for fun, family time. If he needed help, I could go in and assist him. I just used that as extra time.
And that was consistent and up through 2021?
Yes.
So you saw your sister there? Because she was living there with her children?
Yes. On occasion, though, her and her kids would be out more often. I would just go and visit my dad when the house was empty and he needed more company and help and assistance because he was there alone.
How old was he?
He's about 24 years older than me, so I believe he's like 59 now.
Did you see your sister at your father's house in the years that you were living there?
She came to visit, yes.
And they worked together on mechanical stuff?
I never saw that. Me and my sister, we had a close relationship, so she would come over and hang out with me all the time.
Okay, good. And then, unfortunately, something happened. You want to tell me when that was and what it was?
October, I believe it was the 30th, me and my sister, we got into an altercation.
Tell me the beginnings of it, because each of you claimed that the other harassed, claimed your sister assaulted you, and both of you claimed some damage to automobiles that was caused by the other during the course of these altercations. Okay, so tell me what happened in October.
So the Thursday prior to the 30th, which was a Saturday in October, my sister was supposed to come to my house and do my kids' hair. But that was something that I had just asked her to do. Like we said, I stayed with my dad. They were having some issues, so
Who was having issues?
My sister and my dad.
Were you having issues with your father around that time?
I was told I was having issues with my father at that time by my sister Jessica.
Did you discuss it with your father?
I did, and I found out that that was a lie that Jessica had told him, was making up lies to make us not like each other.
Okay, so there was some bad feeling about that.
Right, so I was inviting her over because she was struggling, and I needed my kids' hair done for a picture day. So
She was what?
struggling.
Struggling.
Financially.
Okay.
So I offered to pay her to do my kids' hair. My dad did inform me that she wasn't able to come to the house, that I needed to go to her house. And I don't really know what her situation was like over there, so I let my dad know I was uncomfortable. And I also let her know our dad said it was not okay for you to come over here with us today. And he wanted an apology.
He wanted an apology?
Yes.
From her?
Yes.
Is your father well?
He has diabetes and...
Okay, but there's nothing preventing him from coming to court. Okay, well then you can't tell me what he told you because that's hearsay. Did your sister come over to the house on October 30th?
Yes.
Approximately what time?
I believe 11:30 in the morning.
Had you had a conversation with her that morning and told her not to come over?
Yes.
Did you tell her why?
Oh, I can't speak on it because he's not here.
No.
I don't.
My question is, did you tell your sister why?
Yes.
What did you tell your sister?
That our dad would not want her there.
Is that what she told you?
That is what she told me.
Did you ask her why?
I did.
What did she tell you?
She told me that my dad was under the impression that I was hanging out with drug dealers and dangerous people, and that he didn't want me around.
Did you call your father?
I did.
And you had a discussion with him?
I did.
Were you invited over to the house?
I called.
That's either a yes or a no.
No.
So now you have information, whether accurate or not, that you weren't welcome in your father's house for whatever reason, or for the reason that was articulated to you. You called your father to confirm that, and your father did, in fact, confirm that.
He confirmed that there was a issue between Jessica and I, and that we needed to resolve it. He was not going to get involved with it. But he did not confirm that I was denied access to his house.
Well, just from my information, what did you think the issue was between you and your sister?
She was lying to my father.
Well, no, your father didn't say that your sister's lying to me. Your father had to have indicated to you that these are the things that I'm being told. And you have to resolve that with your sister.
Yes.
But your father told you not to come to the house.
No, he did not tell me not to come to the house.
Did he suggest you come to the house?
Neither. He neither suggested I come or not to. He just said I should
resolve it with her.
Yes.
Okay. And you went over there that morning?
I stated to her that I would come over and resolve it right then and there.
You told him?
They were both on the phone. Okay. I called his cell phone.
Did your sister, then your sister said, I'm going to come over, and you knew she was coming?
Yes, she said.
Okay, that's a yes. You knew she was coming, so this wasn't a surprise visit. You knew she was coming. Now tell me what happened when she got there.
So when she gets there, me and my dad were standing outside already. She gets out of her car. I approach her car. It's a little back and forth, and then...
No, tell me the back and forth, and try to keep your voice up.
Sorry. So when I approach her car, she jumps out the car. Then she reaches for a taser. So then I close her in the door. And once my dad, we're outside together, he pulls me off the door. She then takes her car, it's a video. She's attempting to run me over with her car. She did manage to run over my foot. I then went in the house. I got a broomstick, like an attachment, like the broom wasn't attached. But I've got the broomstick, and I went outside and I started swinging it at her car. And I damaged the hood of her car and the window.
And then she left?
No. She stayed at the house. I went back in the house. She called the police, and I'm not sure what happened after she called the police.
Well, did the police arrive?
My dad informed me that we didn't know what she was telling the police, that when police come, everybody gets arrested. So he said, I had something to do that day, go get a facial at an appointment at 1 o'clock. So I just went ahead and headed off to that.
So you left?
Yes.
You knew she called the police and you left, leaving your dad to explain to the police what happened?
My dad didn't talk to the police neither.
So they just came?
As far as I know, they just came, knocked on the door. When I called to see if there was a report made, the police said no report was made. That was it.
Okay, fine. So the damage that was done to your car was done with a broomstick handle?
Yes.
To her car?
Yes.
By you?
Yes.
Now, Miss Gaines, did you have a taser in your car?
I don't own a taser.
And when you got to the house, your father was standing with her?
No.
Where was he?
He was exiting the house. She was already, when I pulled up, she was exiting the house.
But he was outside?
She was already at the sidewalk when I pulled up. Okay. So he was at the door.
Well, why don't you tell me your version of what happened when you pulled up?
I pulled up. I was recording the incident on my phone. I don't have that recording because it was on Instagram. I didn't want the embarrassment to go on any longer. I tried to screen record it, but it didn't save.
Okay, so you don't have video?
I don't have that full video. I do have a short video of her actually attacking the car with the stick that she came out of the house with, though. So I do have that.
I'd like to look at it.
I have the full video.
Okay, I'd like to see hers, and thank you for telling me you have the full video.
Okay.
I think the full video might be more sufficient because I have bits and pieces of the video.
Kevin, I'm going to take both. Would you pull up the video that you have on your phone?
We're going to go over to my family member's house right now to find out why we want to fight me. She has literally did everything in her possibility to make my dad my enemy. She has moved into his house, told him I'm on drugs. My family have come up with the excuse that I'm on drugs, and that's why nobody has come to see me. Yeah, do it. I'm on live.
First, Miss Gaines, you do understand that you damaged your sister's car?
Yes.
Okay, and that you have to pay for that.
Joanne Gaines vandalized her car and harassed her. Joanne is countersuing for an assault and filing a false restraining order against her.
Okay, Miss Gaines, you do understand that you damaged your sister's car?
Yes.
Okay, and that you have to pay for that?
She sued me for the damages already.
She sued you. Did she get the damages?
Yes.
Oh.
She was granted.
Okay. Okay, so you sued her already and you got a judgment.
Yes, for that incident.
For this damage?
But not the damage that would happen on December the 12th.
Just a second. Sorry. Okay, so we don't have to deal with this damage. And subsequent to this damage that you caused to your sister's car, you had damage to your car.
Yes.
And tell me what that was.
So on 3 different occasions, she came to my house and popped both of my tires on the driver's side of my car.
Okay, and this was after October 30th?
Yes.
You'd been living at your father's house for 3 years?
Yes.
With your children. During that 3-year period of time, was your car ever damaged?
No.
Did you ever have tires popped on the car?
No.
Did you confront your sister at any time about the damage to your car?
No.
According to this, you have a video of her near your car.
Yes.
On one of those occasions?
Yes.
I'd like to see it. Before I even look at it, Ms. Gaines, you received a judgment and were compensated for the damage to your car caused by your sister. Mm-hmm. Do you acknowledge that you or someone acting on your behalf flattened her tires?
One tire.
Okay. So you say you flattened them one time?
One tire, one time.
And when?
Right before November.
Okay. And what did you flatten the tires with?
A knife.
So
just
you
one
slashed.
Tire.
She did say tires, didn't
just
she?
One tire.
She said one tire, one time.
Okay. And that was in November?
Beginning of November.
Did you pay for that tire?
I did not.
And do you have photographs of the flattened tires?
Yes.
I'd like to take a look at them. How many times were they flattened?
My tires were flattened 3 times.
Tires. How many tires the first time?
2.
How many tires the second time?
Sorry, I just want to make sure. 2.
How many tires the third time?
2.
And you filed a case against your sister for damage to your car on what date?
This is the court case I filed for damages for my car. Well, originally I just filed for...
When did she file the case, against you for damages to her car?
December 16th.
And your tires had already been flattened how many times?
3.
Do you have a bill for those tires?
Yes. Well, I had took the receipt before, so I don't have the receipt, but I have the police report where the police...
No, I want to see the receipt.
I'm sorry.
I need damages. You want damages, you have to show me that you spent money to replace the tires and how much they cost.
Yeah, I'm sorry. When I went to court, when she was suing me for her car, I just took the receipts as proof. And when the judge took it, I never got it back.
Did you countersue her for the tires when she sued you?
No.
Well, why would the judge take your receipts for the tire?
Because he took all of our evidence at the end of the case.
No. The only reason a court would take your evidence is if you had a counterclaim for your damage.
I'm new to the court thing, so I didn't know to countersue. So when I had to file paperwork, so when I went to court on our court date, I was just letting the judge know, like, look, she did these damages to me. I didn't file a countersue claim. I didn't know I had to do that.
The judge looked at it and didn't return that to you?
He said any evidence that we wanted to be taken into consideration, to leave it with him. And I left it with him.
And what kind of tires did you purchase?
I believe they say Bridgestone on them.
And what's the name, make, and model of your car?
It's a 2005 Cadillac Escalade.
Can you get me any information about that, Sarah? Cost of cars, 2000 Escalade, what kind of tires it uses? Okay, so the harassment that you're talking about by your sister, because that's the other part of your claim. The vandalism is one, which Sarah is looking up now. The damages for harassment were the tires being slashed, is that right?
A part of it, yes.
Well, what's the other part?
Well, when I filed for the restraining order, the judge said it sounded like a family matter, so I didn't.
So the court dismissed it?
Yes. So on December 24th, which was Christmas Eve, I woke up and my tires were popped again. So I then asked my dad, is it okay if I record you reaching out to my sister, asking her to leave me alone so that if I do go to court again, I have some evidence? Because again, my dad didn't come to court back then. And he was like, I don't think I can do that because then she'll start messing with me and I can't afford to be down in the morning.
Okay.
And then I was just like, okay, well, at that point, I didn't feel safe there no more because she had already called Children's Services on me. And then every 2 weeks, my tires were being popped. I really couldn't afford it.
I got it. Do you recall how much you spent for each tire?
Each tire was $120.
So you spent a little over $700?
Yes.
Okay.
That's about right from what I'm seeing.
Okay. So, Ms. Gaines, let me tell you how I'm going to rule on her request for damages for her car. But I believe that some things make sense and some things don't. And if somebody has an MO of slashing tires as their reaction to having their car damaged, and if you acknowledge doing it and doing it one time, it is not a giant leap from my imagination that you caused the same damage to all 6 of her tires. I don't find that a giant leap. I think the whole thing is foolish, and I actually don't see the basis for coming out with a broomstick, except that you were angry and lashing out at her car. You could have stayed in your house and called the police. There was no reason for you to come out of the house at all, except to confront your sister. You had an application for a restraining order against your sister?
This is correct.
And you had a trial on that?
This is correct.
And you were granted a restraining order?
Yes.
For how long?
6 months.
And that expired?
It hasn't expired yet.
Yeah.
This was an incident. It was caused by her coming to my house after court.
Okay.
And causing more damage.
Okay. So I think that she had the right to file for a restraining order against you because part of your action is filing false restraining order. Part of your case was for vandalism to your car, but that was already done in another court.
That was part of the first case. We've been going since October.
Okay.
Jessica Gaines accuses her sister, Joanne Gaines, of slashing her tires. Joanne claims she needed to file a restraining order against Jessica.
Okay, let's get to the assault part of your claim that I would like to hear. First, I watched the video, and I have to tell you, Ms. Gaines, that in my judgment, what you took a big whiff of was a blunt. Is that what they call that?
That is.
Okay. And that's what was in the video, and that's while you were on your way over there and very, very angry and driving a car and lost in a sea of smoke. You understand? And I think that that's both foolish, bad judgment, dangerous, and dangerous to drive a car that way.
I agree. I'm sorry.
And shows an absolute lack of judgment. So I would think about that kind of behavior. Again, if I were you, want to tell me when and under what circumstances your sister assaulted you and where you were hospitalized or treated medically?
When I pulled up to the house, she had asked me to jump out of the vehicle.
How did she ask you to jump out of the vehicle?
She was standing on the sidewalk. I was putting the car in park, and she stated, hop out. I said, okay, I guess we're hopping out.
Well, that was sort of silly. If somebody said to you, hop out, I would stay in the car.
I'm trying to talk to my dad. I have a...
Okay. Well, you talk to your dad later when things have calmed down and you're not high on weed.
I understand that you...
You got the damages for your car by way of a judgment. I've awarded you for the tires $726. $726 for the tires. That's the judgment of the court. We're finished. Thank you very much.
This court is adjourned.
I only slashed her tires one tire, like I stated.
It was fair.
There's no receipts that were presented, so they were never damaged.
We got it, we got the proof, so.
She stated that I ran her over by the car, but she was walking back into her house. How are you walking if your foot got ran over by a car?
It's embarrassing.
Jealousy, maybe I don't feel that way. This is my younger sister. I love my younger sister. I don't wish that this wasn't even going on.
I really hope we have a better relationship going forward. I hope this is all over and behind us.
Yeah, there's no more family for me, I guess.
We're siblings. Siblings go through stuff.
So, my Sarah, the case to me, we've seen it before, siblings fighting, very unfortunate. So I'm going to ask you a question because I know I come from a separate generations, 3 down from you.
Okay.
And I've already accepted the fact that many states in this country have voted in favor of legislation which suggests that marijuana is a legal substance and decriminalizing it. Fine, just like alcohol.
Yes.
That's what my grandchildren tell me. You drink alcohol, we do something else. But am I crazy? Because I watched that video, and to me that was the most interesting part of the video. And then she took this big cigar thing, which I found out what those were called back in my family court days. And it's interesting that I could recall it, called a blunt. Tell me what you think. Would it be no different if she took a big bottle of vodka from the passenger seat and took a couple of swigs before she got to a fight?
Yeah.
Okay, I want your take on that.
Yeah, even as a different generation, there's responsibilities and regulations and rules, the same with alcohol. So while it might be legalized, decriminalized in many states, you still have to follow the rules and act responsibly. I think there are different physiological effects.
Would you say that there was any jurisdiction in this country where you could smoke marijuana while you were driving?
I think it's still considered under the influence, which is just as bad as driving under the influence of alcohol. So I think it impairs your judgment all the same. And showing up to a fight high, I think, is equivalent to showing up drunk. And
even if you were going to a party.
Yeah, you're behind the wheel of tons of weight and something that could be used as a deadly weapon. So you got to be as sharp as you can.
Yeah. Just from this interaction, you're absolutely right legally, but I'm not getting the outrage.
No, outrageous. I think it is.
Okay.
I think driving under the influence of marijuana, alcohol, outrageous.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad you...
Nishera Garrett is suing her former friend, Michael Kodia, and his girlfriend, Brianna Serrano, for a personal loan, car damages, and an assault.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case number 2056, Garrett versus Kodio scenario.
Thank you. Ms. Garrett, this gentleman, Michael Kodia, is that
correct?
Kodia?
Yes.
You and Mr. Kodia have been lifelong friends, according to what I read in the complaint. Lifelong, you're both very young. How do you know him?
Well, we used to ride bikes together. His mom used to also braid my hair when I was a child every Sunday.
But you and Mr. Kodia were never involved in any relationship other than just friendship?
No.
And Mr. Kodia, Miss Serrano is currently your girlfriend?
Correct. Yes, yeah.
She had been your girlfriend and been living with you for a while, and you have a child together?
Yes, correct. Well, she's currently pregnant. We're expecting, they're expecting.
Great. You had a fight?
Yes.
With Miss Serrano, and that was around June of this year?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it was a substantial enough fight that Miss Serrano left the home. And she left the home with your child. And how old is your child?
As I was saying, we are expecting.
So you don't have a child together?
She's 6 months pregnant, though, currently.
Okay. So you just living, and she left?
Correct.
At about the same time, Miss Garrett, your friend, needed a place to stay.
I wouldn't say needed a place to stay, but...
What would you say?
It was more like, I kind of had a clue, like she had a place to stay, but it was just one of those situations.
No, look over here. Look over here. Okay.
Sorry.
Now, Mr. Cody, I want you to understand there are very few stories that are new under the sun. I want you to really understand that. I have children. I have grown grandchildren, boys and girls. I've seen all the movies that I want to see about romance and guys. So your girlfriend leaves you.
Yeah.
Yes. And would it be fair to say that you invite Miss Garrett to come and stay with you?
Yes, it would be fair.
Had you ever invited her to come and stay with you before?
No, I have not. Not in the current apartment that I'm staying in right now, no.
Had you in another apartment?
No.
So the answer is you had never invited your friend to come and stay with you before?
No.
Interesting. So on June 27th, she left. On what date did you invite Miss Garrett to come and stay in your apartment?
June 16th.
June 16th?
Yes.
So 11 days before Miss Serrano left?
Miss Serrano left about a week prior to her coming.
What date did you leave, Miss Serrano? Do you recall?
I don't recall. I recall it was the end of or mid-June of this year, I would say. I had personal things going on, so